Live from downtown Vancouver at the Vancouver Film School campus, it's time for EP Live. Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest and everything cool. You guys are very kind. Thank you very much. Mwah, mwah. I love that. That's very, very sweet. Happy Friday, everybody. It is almost the weekend. We're basically your last stop until the weekend when all kinds of fun madness can befall all of us, right? Including lots of playing of excellent video games, which we are going to be talking about today. We've got a very cool guest. His name is Brian Bernal, and he is the CEO and co-founder of a game called, a system called the Poly Mega, and it allows you to play all kinds of retro video games, going back to, of course, the NES is covered there, and the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, but also all of the CD-ROM-based systems out there. Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast, the original PlayStation. It's ridiculous. And we're going to dive deep into that and find out all about the history of this machine, when it's coming, how much it will cost, all of that stuff. But first, we have a rundown to get to, and today it is dedicated to our friend Dakaris, who says, it's like I'm watching Judgment Day all those years ago. I love it when people find the content and go, oh my God, I know this guy. I get that comment a lot, which is fantastic. Thank you for watching, Dakaris. This rundown is all yours. All right, the recent Superman movies might not have been very heroic at the box office, but that isn't stopping the character from multiplying on the small screen. Today at Comic-Con, DC revealed that Superman Returns star Brandon Routh will reprise the Kryptonian role in the next crossover event for the Arrowverse TV shows. Routh already appears on the Arrowverse shows as Legends of Tomorrow as another hero, the Atom, but the next crossover episodes will see him instead play Superman alongside another version of the character, Tyler Hoechlin's incarnation from Supergirl. This will be Routh's first time donning the iconic red cape since Superman Returns hit Earth in 2006. The new crossover episodes air this fall, and in case you didn't know, we shoot this show live. That's why you can hear sirens race by every once in a while. We shoot this live at the VFS Cafe at 390 West Hastings. I am super stoked that Brandon Routh gets to be Superman again. I thought he was terrific in Superman Returns. The movie was a bit dour. It was a bit of a bummer, but one thing they got right with that film was casting him. He was a terrific Clark Kent, and he was a terrific Superman. And yes, he evoked Christopher Reeve, but that was the right choice. Christopher Reeve is iconic. He is one of the best interpretations of the character we've ever seen, and Superman Returns definitely played homage to it, and Routh still feels like Christopher Reeve. When you watch him as Arrow, or when you watch him as the Atom on Legends of Tomorrow, you get that vibe off of the guy. He just seems genuine. He seems like a pretty positive kind of force out there, and I've liked his work. So I know that there's a lot of Henry Cavill fans out there that are going to be disappointed that it looks more and more likely that he is not going to be Superman again. But this would be an incredible turn if DC suddenly says, you know what, we like Brandon Routh again. Let's make him Superman one more time. And maybe frame it from a different vantage point, because now, of course, he's, 10, 15 years older since Superman Returns came out. He could add some nice shading to the character. But thumbs up on that one. Super psyched to watch it. And, of course, it's going to be Arrow's last season. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out and how all these different actors play together. Also, the Batwoman TV show is going to launch very soon. Now, Marvel hasn't really made any big movie announcements yet at Comic-Con, but they're shaking things up on the small screen. Marvel and ABC have announced that this upcoming 7th season of their TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be its last. The announcement was confirmed at Comic-Con, with the show's cast and crew thanking fans for their support over all these years. The team promises that the final season will bring the show and its characters to a satisfying conclusion, and they've already begun filming the final episodes. No word yet on when they're going to air, but in the meantime, the current 6th season will end this August. And this honestly is a show that I've got some distance from. There's been so many different shows that have come up and hit my radar that I've shifted over to a lot of stuff. This is one of the casualties. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a long time, and I know that it got a lot better. It started to get weird and went off on some strange tangents that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I know that they reined it in. I've been talking to fans over the years that really speak highly of what they did creatively with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And of course, we just saw Phil Coulson in the Captain Marvel movie. He was de-aged a bit, but it was great. Great actor, great character, and I hope that he is honored and all the rest of the cast members are honored as they conclude the show. It's always sad when we see, we fought so long, all of us fans of superhero culture, for weekly shows that really honored the medium of comic books in a great way, and we finally got them. And now we have so many of them, it's hard to keep track. But it's always sad, like to see Arrow ending and to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ending and other shows only getting one season and they're gone. But we have a lot to choose from. It's a good problem to have. All right, with Game of Thrones finished, another epic fantasy franchise is coming to the small screen. A live-action TV series based on the Warhammer 40,000 or 40K franchise is in development. Warhammer owner Games Workshop has partnered with Man in the High Castle creator Frank Spotsnitz to make the show a reality, with the goal of turning it into a big-budget series in the same vein as Game of Thrones and upcoming shows like Amazon's Lord of the Rings and Netflix's The Witcher. Like the Warhammer 40K tabletop games, video games, and books, the show will take place in a dark, futuristic universe where humanity fights for survival against rival factions. No word yet on what networks or streaming platforms might be interested. This could be amazing, but as we've seen with a lot of the video game adaptations of Warhammer 40K, they can also be all over the map. And I think one of the challenges with Warhammer 40K is that there's just so many ways in to this world. A lot of people don't play the tabletop, so their first exposure is some crappy mobile game that they put on their phone for 5 minutes and they go, well, I don't like this, and it's gone. So I think if this is happening, there's got to be a lot of cleaning up the story and giving us a good sense of what the myth around Warhammer 40K is all about. I've loved some of the Warhammer games that Relic has worked on. Those RTS experiences are phenomenal. So if you're curious, that's what I would dive into. Even though the third one was a little bit leaning in the League of Legends direction, and it pissed off a lot of the fans of the first one, there was still some excellent work in there. And a lot of appeasement as well. As these games continued on, the developers were working hard to bring back the fans and bring back people into the fold. Now, that's not to say that the tabletop Warhammer 40K doesn't have its own devout following and a lot of love out there in this space. There are actual Games Workshop outlets like Apple stores when you travel around. I remember one of the ones that I saw was in Edinburgh a couple of years ago, and they had this full-on, come into our Games Workshop HQ here and dig into our tabletop stuff, which is incredible. So clearly there are fans out there, and clearly this universe can be mined for some interesting stuff. I just hope that it's a concise message and we all get it, and the visuals look great and the casting is cool. But I'm all for more fantasy on television. That sounds awesome. And I think that's what everybody's trying to do, is fill the void that Game of Thrones is leaving for us, including HBO with all of its prequel series that they've got in the works. Now, Linda Hamilton and Arnold aren't the only Terminator icons returning for the latest film. During their Comic-Con panel, the makers of Terminator Dark Fate confirmed 2 new details about the movie. It will see original John Connor actor Edward Furlong return to the role for the first time since Terminator 2, and the new movie will also be R-rated. This will make it the first Terminator movie with a hard R since T2, so expect plenty of good old-fashioned violence and swearing. Hollywood has shied away from R-rated movies because they mean fewer people can see them at the theater, but that attitude has changed since the blockbuster success of Deadpool. That film's director, by the way, Tim Miller, is also directing Dark Fate. It lands this October. Now I'm very excited. I actually was wondering what the hell is up with Edward Furlong. Have not seen or heard of that guy for a long time. And he was kind of annoying in T2. And, not everybody might not agree with this, but I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was like, this kid is kind of annoying. But as you watch that movie again and again, and it's a nearly perfect film, let's be honest, T2 is so incredible. As you watch it again and again, you see that whiny brat, punky kid was kind of perfect as well, but it takes time to kind of get used to it, I think. Kind of in the way that Mark Hamill's whininess in Empire Strikes Back, it took a little while for us to get used to that too. I hope I'm not creating any friction on the internet, God forbid. But Edward Furlong, he was I guess, an acquired taste, but I've missed him in these Terminator movies, and it's crazy. He was a kid, John Connor, and now he's going to be a middle-aged John Connor in a new Terminator flick. I cannot believe that this is happening. And please, Tim Miller, don't drop the ball. With all of that talent behind this thing, it's got to be awesome. I really hope it's awesome.